Hello, this is AlienCon 2018, a report. I'm here in Pasadena. And it was very interesting. Learned a lot of things. So let's see what we got here. So, the highlight for Friday is that there was an announcement from a scientist working on Mars that a signature for nuclear weapons has been known for quite some time. Xenon-129 was found on Mars. A large nuclear explosion occurred on Mars, and with other isotopic ratio analysis, a location was found for the explosion, nuclear explosion on Mars. It could be determined how large the nuclear explosion was, when it was, and this occurred before human beings existed. So there's something or someone out in the universe exploding very large nuclear weapons on planets. This explosion on Mars corresponds to a large extinction event on Earth. So there's probably an argument, or you could see right away, these individuals, whoever they are, might have just went through our solar system, destroying everything in its path. So as a coincidence, the site of the nuclear explosions are at the pyramid and so-called face on Mars. So you could debate about the pyramid and face on Mars if you would like, but you cannot debate the signatures of nuclear weapons exploding on Mars. So there are a lot of Mars anomaly hunters finding artifacts on Mars and everything like this. There was ancient water on Mars. What's interesting is Mars has an 8-kilometer depth oxidation layer for the iron in the soil. So anywhere we look on Earth, the oldest we could find is 2 to 3, an oxidation layer. So an oxidation layer on Mars that's 8 kilometers deep says oxygen atmosphere. So the water on Mars evaporated or went into the soil, or wherever it went, it's held at the poles, was a liquid ocean on Mars. The announcement from NASA that there's organic molecules. This is the second time NASA's announced organic molecules on Mars. And I have a theory in a book I'm writing where I believe that there's a pathway for not only microbial life but fungus as well, and that there might even be fungus on Mars right now. Some of these other seminars do not concentrate on bacteria and fungus on Mars as alien life. So that was a highlight of AlienCon. There's the History Channel is producing a series, Project Blue Book. In all its glory, Project Blue Book was investigating UFOs. It may have turned into a disinformation campaign. What is interesting about Air Force Project Blue Book, at that time, the Army broke off and formed the Air Force. The Air Force has the blue uniforms. It may be that, like, if you research the history of how the Air Force was formed, the whole Air Force is Project Blue Book. What is interesting is that the Navy and the Army have their own space program. People know about the NASA space program and the Air Force airplanes, but the Army and the Navy, who have always been involved in the UFO phenomena, they have their own space program. Classified, top secret, secret. I don't know what the classifications are. So there are many distinguished guests at AlienCon. What else? There was a Star Trek convention inside AlienCon in the Pasadena auditorium, which was full. And so that was first, Marie. I've never been to a Star Trek convention. So there was the holographic doctor from Voyager. There was the doctor from the Next Generation, and there was a Borg drone from, I believe, the Next Generation. And it was interesting, their lives and how they interacted in Star Trek. The holographic doctor has a bachelor's in biology. He's involved with the University of California in leading seminars in future medicine and all this. So these Star Trek actors, they brought a lot of their personal lives to their characters. And it's interesting to see that their lives and their art, the relationship. So science fiction and science fact, there was a lecture, a seminar on that. I didn't attend that one. As you can see, there's so many different things you could have done in AlienCon the weekend. I attended what is astrobiology seminar. History's Project Blue Book, the Secret Space Program, and what else? Death on Mars. And so that was my take on AlienCon. There are so many people. Some of the lecture halls had to be rotated for bigger and bigger and bigger auditoriums. The abductee seminars were moved to larger and larger and larger auditoriums. There was so many people. This AlienCon was just, there must have been thousands and thousands and thousands of people. You can't really estimate how many people there were. But they took up like all the seminar rooms and all the conference rooms and all the like the civic auditorium of Pasadena is there at the Pasadena Convention Center, and it's full. And they're all full, and then the people are walking back and forth. So it's just, there's a lot of interest. The facts are out there. If anyone's wondering if they're facts or not, or where UFOs stand, or aliens, there was a intelligence officer from the British government, Nick Pope, who investigated UFOs. He was there. He laid all the cards down on the table. Some of the videos are absolutely authentic. They're not sure how they got in the public domain. So it's a subject that's taken very seriously. And is it a place where you would, take your children to discover that they're real monsters, interdimensional entities, and all of this stuff? I don't know what there might be an age breakdown of it. So on most UFOCon and AlienCon, I wear my Stargate uniform. So here's my Stargate uniform. So this year I was wearing Divergent series. This is from the Divergent series. So I don't know what year Divergent series takes place, sometime in the dystopian future. If I wear this police uniform in downtown San Francisco, I practically draw these undercover agents and police from hidden alcoves in the city, and they come in and they try to see what's going on with this. It's a costume from a movie of what a police uniform looks like. I heard some of them, the first time they looked at this, that they wanted to order it for their police stations. So one of my YouTube videos was saying that maybe I altered, the timeline. I was worried about altering the timeline with a Stargate uniform. But this one's really dangerous to have police gear from 2076, whatever the year may be. And so I got all kinds of swag from AlienCon. Let's see if I missed anything. So Nick Pope gave a lecture on government UFO programs. Oh, the megaliths of ancient South America was interesting. The energies and megaliths of South America. Death on Mars. John Brandenburg gave that lecture. What is astrobiology? Seth Shostak from the SETI Institute. What is astrobiology? Jason Martell gave a lecture on the secret space program. The space station moon is an interesting theory that I have enjoyed, because I took astronomy, physics at the university level. And when the lecture on the moon came out, the physics professor knew something was going on with the moon. So he just started giving out these facts. You write down these things about the moon and you're like, okay, that's impossible for the moon to do all that or have all that. So you're just kind of like, so if someone or something put the moon in that orbit, and people say, well, it's leaving orbit 1 inch a year, it couldn't have been God who did it. But that's pretty close. Adjustment to throw something in orbit. So, you know, throwing a ball up and having it come down and catching it, right, is the example physicists give for the gravity constant, right? So somehow you got a moon and you just throw it there and it goes into perfect orbit, always keeping the same face around the Earth. That's a pretty good throw. You know, pitcher throwing a baseball and having the moon just like go right there, and then it's slow, you know. So it's not perfect, but it's like 99.99999, you know, perfect orbit. Give them a break, okay? So they did a good job, whoever put the moon there. So is that God who put that there? So that person appeared before you. I put the moon there. You would probably think that was God. Anyway, so the moon might have been put there by an intelligence, you know, far beyond ours. Whoever was playing with nuclear weapons on Mars was an intelligence. So I haven't heard anyone mention, but briefly, that there were mass extinction events that occurred at the same time the Mars nuclear weapons. So what I know, some of the dinosaur fossils are radioactive with, as if a nuclear weapon was used to kill off the dinosaurs. They have to paint the fossils with lead paint. So anyway, there's meteorites with isotopes found of nuclear weapons in space. And then you could see when they look at some of the elements from some of the asteroids, you know, radioactive elements and so forth. So that's AlienCon 2018.